Good evening, assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Today is on Sunday night. I welcome you guys to join me today on Mindful Talk with Amber. And today's topic is our most essential topic, which we cannot ignore. It's politics, 2020 elections, and it is Pakistani American women's involvement in 2020 election. I have invited two very phenomenal and active women in their communities that they are working tremendously towards their political gain. Thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight.
You're welcome.
So the first person I'm going to introduce is Rifat.
Hi, Amber. Thank you so much for including me in this discussion, which is, as you said, one of the most important topics in these days. Elections are just not even a month away, and we are all excited. We are excited. We are nervous. We don't know what to do with ourselves because I am a Democrat, registered Democrat. I cannot wait for Joe Biden to be the next president of the United States. I am also working for his campaign diligently, and being a Pakistani American and Pakistani American woman, I think we can play a tremendous role in enhancing these campaigns.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the next person I'm inviting is Nusrat Suhail, which is a very dear and close friend of mine. And she also is a president of Women to Women Forum. Thank you, Nusrat, for joining us. Nusrat, you're mute. Nusrat, you're mute.
Okay, sorry, I was having a hard time getting it unmute. Thank you, Amber, for inviting me and actually making this talk happen. You are very good, mashallah, at bringing community together and highlight the important topics that are, that are prevalent. Right now, of course, it's election year and presidential election year, and this is our second talk on your view on this platform before Channel 52 to make it happen. As Rifat mentioned, that I am also working behind the scenes on this campaign. There is one interesting thing that we have noticed this year, which is community engagement, and especially Muslim engagement at political level is actually far more active than in previous presidential campaigns. I have noticed, and especially like women like you, me, Rifat, we are all there, actively working to get women engaged from Muslim background, from Pakistani background, to make this presidential campaign to be a success. Of course, I'm a Democrat, and I'm a registered Democrat, so of course I'm supporting Democratic Party, and I'm looking forward to for having Joe Biden in the White House. We are 1 month short of this campaign, and I'm hopeful that it'll happen. We just need to come together, and we need to work in bringing each one person to go out and vote. And due to COVID, a lot of people are saying that they are not ready to go out and cast vote and ballot. So for them, I'm already recommending that they should, look for mail ballot, and there is an option for that too. So a lot of people do not know about that, but there is a deadline for that ballot, and we need to maybe talk about that today.
Yes, absolutely. Today's show is about all the things that we need to uncover and let our community know. So, Rifat, I want our audience to know that you do an amazing work, not just with campaigning. You come with a tremendous work, and the scenario has changed. You have worked with the interfaith and many other organizations. Just give a little background so people would know.
Sure. Like any other community leader, I started from doing civic work, getting involved in social projects within my own community of Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and gradually, became part of the general community of Pittsburgh. I was put on the first International Immigrants Board in Allegheny County. I was the first co-chair of that organization, that committee, where we were having a lot of, in Pittsburgh, we were having a lot of issues with the new immigrants and new refugees that would come to Pittsburgh. A lot of refugees came from Bosnia, from Somalia, from Iraq, from Burma. So my whole position was that when immigrants come from traumatic situations, which is mostly the case for refugees and immigrants who leave their own countries and come to a new country to settle down, they should be enabled to live a comfortable life over here, because it is not good for humans to be taken from one traumatic situation and put in another traumatic situation. So my first position was that let's put them in areas that are more comfortable and are not areas that are downridden, and it becomes difficult for them to understand. So worked extensively with that, created projects. Foster care was another issue that I felt as an immigrant that most of the social workers did not know the norms of people coming from different countries. And so there had to be tremendous training for them. So I was one of the pioneers of the cultural sensitivity training program. And having a background in psychology, I could understand the people and what was happening and how they would take things in a beneficial way. And also having worked with refugees from Bosnia and Iraq and Somalia, I had firsthand experience of what was normal for them, which was not normal for our country. I'll give you a small example, like, in the third world countries, even in Pakistan, where I'm from, smacking a child on the behind or on the face was a very normal thing, whereas it is a crime in this country. So the parents were also educated on what was allowed over here and what is not allowed, because they would be flabbergasted that why are the social services here to take my child away? I just smack them on their face or on their behind.
Correct.
So a lot of issues. And then I got involved in politics and campaigns, different campaigns. I was involved in interfaith after 9/11 because I had a huge network of a general population in Pittsburgh who knew me, like the Jews and the Christians. And so literally, I mean, I have to say that literally every other day, I was somewhere in some church, in some social hall, talking about Islam. And I have to tell you a funny story. There was one group that said they had never seen a Muslim woman. So I just did a catwalk in front of them and I said, hey, you can touch me. I'm human. I am a Muslim woman. This is how Muslim women are. It is always the fear of the unknown. So the more we go out in public and, be friends with the general population, the more they will know about us and the more they will understand where we are coming from. That is the beauty of United States. Nobody wants to assimilate. We want to integrate in society, but not assimilate. This is another word that I focused on when I would do my training, that don't tell people to integrate and assimilate in the society, because assimilation means becoming like them. Integration is a better word, where people feel comfortable that we can still practice our culture, our religion, and be ourselves, or be known for where we came from, and still be comfortable in American society.
Correct. And then you don't lose your identity because it's
Absolutely.
not about losing your identity.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So, politics is another ball game. After that, politics totally different from that, where you have to be a diplomat in many ways. You cannot say a lot of things openly the way you would do in a civic or social platform, from a social and civic platform. So, well, things go up and down in politics. Sometimes it's the Republicans, sometimes the Democrats. When the Democrats come, majority of our people are not happy with them, are not satisfied. And when the Republicans come, we say, oh my God, we need a change. So it's good that, we get a flavor of both sides and we keep them on their toes. And Pakistani American community is very vibrant, as Nusrat said right now. They're very active, and when I was the president of PACPAC initially 5 years ago, I took over, and not many Pakistani Americans were involved in politics. It was a nightmare to educate them on what advocacy was and what you could do and how you could have your footprint or sit at the table to have a conversation about issues that were relevant to you, that were close to your heart, and issues that you wanted to talk about. So we've come a long way, baby. Let's put it this way.
Awesome. Awesome. And it feels, जिसे कहते हैं खून गर्म हो जाता है देख के that women are on the table.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
for our next generation.
right.
So, Nusrat, you're mute. I think you're saying something.
So, but the good thing is that now we are here from quite some time. I'm here from last 20 years. I know a lot of people are here from 30 years or so. So we have second, third generation are here who are also taking a lead, and they are more well informed. They are more integrated. So there is hope. And what they are doing at this point, that they are bringing, their parents, their grandparents with them to go out and vote. And this is what I have been saying to, I am an educator and I connect with youth a lot. So I believe that, they are the next generation who will, or who are actually taking the lead now, who has taken the lead. So my generation, there are just few of us like Rifat, like Amber, and few others are here who know the need of this integration and involving in politics. And involving in politics doesn't mean that we all are going to go for some office. Involving in politics means advocacy, or sitting at the table and making our voice heard, what a community needs. So we need to remain as active citizen, meaning understanding the situation, the current situation, current affairs, and what our needs are as a community, and get together and raise our voice. That's it. We are not asking everybody to go out and become mayor of their towns or governors of their state, but there is more to it too.
Yeah.
There's no wrong in becoming mayor or governors of their states, but uh, at a smaller level, we all can contribute.
ये डेफिनेटली आपने नुसरत बड़ी अच्छी बात कही है इस वक्त कि not everybody is going to be a leader. We do need people to be followers. और आप अपने ही लेवल पर जहाँ पे भी हैं, you can get involved in their own little way, and then every little bit counts. So actually I want
Yeah. Um, I was just going to say, chime in to what Nusrat said. I've been told many times that why don't you run for an office, even by my congressional members. And so I have always declined. I have told them that I'm more powerful when I'm not holding an office, because when you hold an office, you're confined to certain things. This way I can speak my mind, and I can groom others or give strength to others who can come forward, and and I can do that with multiple people.
Yeah.
If I run for office, I'm the only one who's going to be in that office. This way I can maybe help 10 different people reach their goal and achieve their objectives.
work behind the screen.
Yes.
जी, और अगर अपनी कोई छोटी सी फॉलोइंग अपनी जनरेट की हुई हो तो थ्रेटन भी कर सकते हैं कि भाई हम तो पार्टी लाइन चेंज कर रहे हैं अपने पूरे ग्रुप के साथ. So you know that is such a simple threat. We have this power, you know,
Right,
to
right.
and to make things happen, and if they're not happening, you know, go to the other side.
Right. अभी वही हो रहा था कि when we started this whole push for Pakistanis for Biden, I had been working with the national campaign so to push them, and they finally said, yeah, we have started a group called Pakistanis for Biden Council, and here's the name of the director. He'll get in touch with you. So lo and behold, I see Athar Tirmizi's name, and I'm like, oh my God, he's part of AB Back. So when Athar came on board and said, we're very excited that you're joining us, blah, blah, blah. So I said, there's one thing I want to caution you about. Do not bring any organization in this group, because the moment you do, you will lose maybe 100 people who hate this organization.
Right.
So
Okay.
don't do that.
That's a
And
good point.
yeah, so I said, so they would periodically bring AB back, and immediately I would jump on them and said, I would say, no, 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 you need to take the name of organizations out. I'm not promoting Backpack over here. We should be totally, totally a community affair. And honestly, within days, there were so many people from so many states who joined, and now it's a mashallah a really big group where
Awesome.
everybody, and we got the younger people involved, and everybody's doing their best to mobilize others to register to vote, to
Mhm.
go to vote, to do mail-in ballots. So educating them on what is happening, and whenever I get something from the national campaign, I forward that to this group immediately, and then Aisha will say, she is the communications director for this group, and she will say, oh, I was going to do this tomorrow, you already posted it. I said, I got it before you did. So
Yeah.
but I think we are all having a blast, just getting a little nervous because being Democrats, we don't know what's in store from thinking about the last elections, keeping that in mind.
Right. And also, you know, we need to understand that it's a little challenging for an incumbent president to not to win second time.
Mhm.
But the challenging situation has already occurred also. COVID, we have lost so many people during COVID, and
Mhm.
we were misinformed. And so this is itself like keeping making America dangerous for American by uninforming common Americans is something that we all need to raise our voice for. And the swing voters who are thinking that if they should vote, they shouldn't vote, or if they vote, they should vote for the sitting president, they need to see that America is not great, which was the slogan of our president, current president. He wanted to make America great. He made America dangerous for common people to live.
Yeah, I'm glad, Nusra, that you brought that point, because let's talk in that within this light frame. Um,
Mhm.
and before I dig in more, we have our viewers. We have actually Amir Hamza. It's our regular viewer, and he always comments and get involved. Have phenomenal good questions. I will be taking his questions. Um, the first question is, how can we bring Muslims from different community to unite and fight this election and help win this election in favor of Democrats? So it's a very good question. Um,
Absolutely.
so whoever wants to take it.
So I'll take the first shot at it, and then Nusrat can chime in. Amir Hamza, just to let you know that there is a phenomenon which is known as when you are, it is a matter of life and death. So right now, a lot of Democrats are feeling, a lot of Americans in general are feeling it is a matter of life or death. And I'm saying this seriously. I'm not being facetious. It is because a lot is dependent on a new president coming in. Our healthcare, our economy, our just taking the example of COVID-19, how it was managed. This administration is not capable of doing anything because they have messed up. I mean, I do work for the State Department periodically as an advisor. It is in shambles. Pakistan has not had an ambassador for the last 4 years. There is an acting ambassador who's coming back now. So the DCM is it. I mean, there are a lot of Muslim countries where there are no ambassadors. There are a lot of important countries where there are no American ambassadors. How are we going to win this war of diplomacy in the world? Uh, it is great to make America great, but by just confining America to America is not going to do it. We live in a global world. Each country's economy is dependent on the other. Come on, President Trump, wake up. So I get a little emotional about it, but I mean, that's reality. So we need to, and knowing this, a lot of Muslims have gathered together, have uh, gathered together behind Joe Biden. His campaign reached out to the Muslim community. So this is the first time of the United States that the Muslims have been recognized as a very influential group, and hence the Muslims also are reciprocating, and they are out there to help Joe Biden win the elections, keeping in mind the first thing that President Trump did was the Muslim ban. So
Yes.
I hope that answers your question.
Right. Yeah, a lot of other questions he has, but and Nusrat, I want to actually dig into what you were saying about getting involved in the politics, specifically towards the woman's perspective. And we are not talking about just about South Asian, Pakistani, or Bangladeshi or Indian. This is about representing Kamala Harrison. So you know, and I do want to talk about that as well after you answer the question.
Okay, so in general, as a first generation immigrant, I happen to like politics, so I follow along. I teach, I talk about that to the students because as an educator, I believe that it's my job to inform my students about what's happening in the country. Staying active citizen is what um, um, is needed in this country. We sort of are known to bear the flag of democracy, and we take democracy as a pride. We feel that this country has flourished in the name of democracy. So giving power to people and having voice in the matters of the country is a very important field that this country has, has uh, like उस पर फ्लरिश किया इस मुल्क ने उसी पे ग्रो किया है from past 200 and so years. So I just feel that we came here and we picked up this spirit too, but not many women did that. Men have, because they go out, they get engaged with other men at work and at different places. But somehow we women, we stay at home, we raise children, and we are not able to get engaged with the larger community as much. We are the ones, we don't get integrated in the society also as easily. So this is the reason why I just feel that it's very important to highlight this, that women are equal citizen in this country. We got right to vote in this country not that long ago, 100 years ago, and women in this country has grown tremendously. But the first generation immigrants, and especially South Asians, I feel we need to still pick up our role too as women here, and we need to take part in elections as actively as anyone does.
Absolutely. Next question is, what do you think is the major risk factor in this election for Muslim community in USA to watch out for? If we can just put the second question on the screen, please.
Could you repeat that?
It was, what do you think is the major risk factor in this election for Muslim community in USA to watch out for?
Um, so I'm going to use history a little bit to explain the position of Muslims in United States. Historically speaking, the Democrats always leaned towards non-Muslims, and the Republicans always leaned tilted a little bit towards the Muslim countries. This time, it's totally different. This time, the Muslims have had Joe Biden's ear, and they've told him how the Muslims in the world feel about this discrimination against them. If you see historically in the past, maybe 10 years or more, maybe 20 years, it's the Muslim countries that have been ravaged, have had wars, and most of the wars have been initiated in a direct way or indirect way by United States. So I think they have learned their lesson a little bit, hopefully, that you don't achieve anything by picking up arms against countries that can't defend themselves. So I think in this way, a lot of people are now thinking about this issue, that wars that have lasted forever, it's been impossible to get out of those wars. And then they have to request or beg Muslims to intervene to end those wars. I will take Iraq as an example. I will take Afghanistan as an example. I will take Yemen. I will take Libya. I mean, there's chaos all over the Muslim world. And unfortunately or fortunately, it is the policies of United States that have perpetuated that. So hopefully, we will try that we continue on this road of educating our representatives. Like, I am on the board of PACPAC. PACPAC has been literally having back-to-back virtual webinars with different candidates, educating them on these issues and making them understand it's not in the advantage of United States to get involved in these wars or these kind of issues.
Right.
Absolutely. And
absolutely. Actually, I had a discussion with a gentleman about the same issue too. He said that I would vote for Republicans because they are on Muslim side, and I said, in what ways? And he said that Democrats start the war. I said, unfortunately, that's not true. Last two wars were started by Republicans and not Democrats. So he said, how come? And I mentioned George Bush started Afghan war, and around the same time, Iraq war happened too.
Yeah.
So current wars were not by Democrats, and Obama came on the ticket for changing the scenario and bringing Marines back, but his hands were tied. He could not fulfill his promise as he wanted to, although he tried. So saying that Obama didn't bring a change isn't a big issue, and that's why Trump won, because a lot of people said that Trump won because Obama brought the status quo. He didn't bring the status quo. He tried to change, but reverting policies of one government before requires a long time to change, and that's what I'm scared of right now. That what happened in the past 4 years, changing them now will be a difficult task. But if this current president would have 4 more years, imagine how much time it would take to bring a real change. The other thing that I was also worried, the current Supreme Court justice has just recently died, right? And now there's an issue of a new one. This is a lifetime position. A new one would be appointed. So if a new one would be appointed before elections, which is, right now a reason of contention, imagine our Supreme Court would also get influence for decades. So this is something that we really need to see what's happening and how much we can play a role in bringing a change. Otherwise, we as minorities will get impacted.
Yeah, we absolutely right. If he comes back, it's going to be not just 4 years, it's going to be 40 years behind. We will lose what we might have a chance of, of anything. Foreign policy, look anywhere where United States is right now. And the sad part is he doesn't care of how the relationship is coming up. There's a lot of questions coming up, but I do want to dig into our the idea that I had about Kamala Harris and, being Muslims and being Pakistanis. That's one question among Pakistani population we had as soon as he announced Kamala Harris. And I myself got very excited that, this is a representation of the South Asian. But the idea was Pakistani community, especially women's were and men, that she's not on our side. Her policy and her support towards Kashmir is against Pakistan. So let's dig in and talk about it. Rifat, I'm going to come to you first about it.
Sure. Thank you, Amber. Yeah, oh my God, my phone was blowing up that day where everybody was texting me what the hell, we are going to vote for Trump now. Why did he pick her? As it is. And Kashmir issue is a very raw issue for Pakistani Americans. And they felt that it is going to be something that's very is going to be detrimental to the interest of Pakistani Americans, and why would you do that? But before I go any further on that topic, I want to repeat a historical fact, which is that Muslim Americans, like I said, historically, Republicans were more pro-Muslim in certain ways. So Muslims would lean towards the Republicans. So Muslims, American Muslims, gave President Bush a bloc Muslim vote, meaning they campaigned and told every Muslim to vote for President Bush. Having done that, they found they were in two wars against Muslims, and then Libya happened, and then it was a spiral that went out of control. And they learned their lesson that, for one thing, never to do block voting. And number two was that we have to look at the candidate, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. Hence, this time, everybody is behind Joe Biden because they're not against Republicans. A lot of Pakistani Americans support Republicans, but they do not support President Trump because of his rhetoric against the Muslims, his immigration issues, a lot of different policies that he has that go against the interest of Pakistani. Now, coming back to Kamala Harris, our Pakistani Americans, like we all know, were very upset. But the point is that who are we doing this for? Why are we being active? Are we being active for Pakistan, or are we being active because we are Americans and we have been given the right to vote and advocate our issues and our agenda by American government? And so I feel that if we are doing this, I hear a lot of rhetoric. We are doing this for our kids. Our kids are here.
Yeah.
Their issues are going to be issues that happen in this country. Having said that, immigration is an issue that is going to impact us over here as well as internationally. Mm-hmm. Economy is another issue that will impact us here as well as internationally. So these are some of the issues So we started from Parkback, we started a platform where we started talking about why we feel a little threatened, but why we feel it is important for us to talk about general issues. Healthcare, my God, that's an issue that every American needs to talk about and focus on because it is your life. And we have seen during COVID how beneficial ACA is and how it needs improvements. It's not perfect. Um, it needs improvement, definitely. So just push the Democrats to improve it, push the Republicans to work on something together where we could have a better plan of, and also include the so-called socialists, as the Republicans call them, but they are the progressives, include the progressives as well. So I think, having said that, we need to, as Pakistani Americans, get off that high horse of why are we picking Kamala Harris and why are we doing this? We need to focus on the issues that impact our daily life, our day-to-day life here.
Yeah. I would like to add a little bit to it. You have explained perfectly. I just wanted to say that, first of all, she's a woman. So, yay. We need to see one woman, um, uh, in that office. Maybe not as a president yet, but at least as a vice president. Second, so that's a personal, per se, reason to support Kamala Harris. And she's a daughter of immigrants, so she knows the immigrant issues. If we are not looking at the bigger picture, if we are still looking at the smaller picture, issues of immigrant as an immigrant are very close to my heart. And I also trust Joe Biden's intuition on choosing the right partner for the election. And I believe that his heart is in supporting Muslim. And this is the first time that Muslims are directly, taken in the campaign. And if he has chosen Kamala Harris, he must have looked into in detail who. And by the way, Kamala Harris is known for bringing raising her voice for all social justice issues during her um, uh, she's the Attorney General in California. So during her work time, she has done amazing work there. So I have hope, and I just do not want to fall into the propaganda that is being, used to delineate some of the voters who are swing voters. I just feel at this point we need to trust our instincts. My instincts are telling me go for it. She's the right person, and we all need to question this ourselves. That are we falling for the propaganda, or are we really giving her a chance to rise up to the occasion?
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right, Nusrat, because when she was, Attorney General, she has made some really tough calls. If we go into her history, uh, and she is the right candidate for a reason. And it's actually, we have to look into a bigger picture as women, as South Asian. हमने कहीं से तो start करना है. So we have to look into that. And also, a lot of viewers and questions are coming. I'm going to take a question from Faryal Meher. A lot of Muslims, especially businessmen, women, vote for Republican in USA, which is she's agreeing to this part. And Obama expanded their retaliation against the U.S. White blower and done in Pakistan. So if you can please put that Faryal Meher's questions on screen, the second one with Obama expanded their retaliation against the U.S. white blowers done in Pakistan.
I think she means the drone attacks in Pakistan. So, This is an issue. I can take that question.
Go
It
ahead.
drone attacks expanded the drone attacks
Mhm.
in Afghanistan against Pakistan.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm going to be very honest over here. And nobody can be more patriotic. While I was in Pakistan, nobody can be more patriotic now over here when I'm in United States than me. My whole family comes is a military family. So, having said that, but I'll be honest over here. This was an issue. Uh, the issue of terrorism was not created by Pakistan. It was created by United States when they attacked Afghanistan. So obviously, those people who were fighting in their minds the war of independence had to take refuge in Pakistan. Pakistan, President Musharraf, sort of deliberately uh, had a blind eye towards that, and he let that happen because he said it would be a bargaining chip for him with United States to get money, whatever. Um, when those people came and started attacking Pakistan and committing terrorism within Pakistan, that's when a lot of military people reacted and said, "What is this? They're killing our people. And they're doing all this stuff within Pakistan, which is not good for our country and which is not good for us." So President Musharraf went and attacked those border areas of northern Waziristan, which kind of expanded the war. Now, when that happened, honestly speaking, US drone attacks were part of a collaboration between Pakistan and US.
Mhm.
Pakistan's ISI is very efficient.
Mhm.
Pakistan's Air Force is very efficient. Nobody can do anything. Pakistan's Air Force could have downed those drones immediately if they wanted to, but that didn't happen because there was behind the scenes sort
And
of
you.
collaboration.
Mhm.
And having said that, uh, in some ways, and whenever I would have meetings with the State Department telling them that you need to stop these drone attacks because you're losing the PR war in Pakistan. They know that Americans are doing that. They would say, well, in a way, we are helping Pakistan. These are terrorists that are within Pakistan. So we are helping Pakistan. We are not sort of uh, manually, man-powered planes. We're not using them to assault Pakistan or break the treaty between Pakistan and US that they won't send their planes. But we are doing this to help Pakistan. They were losing the PR war, unfortunately, US was. But having said that, I think we need to look within ourselves when we become Pakistanis all of a sudden and say, why were they doing this to us? We become very non-American at that time, and we become Pakistanis. Fine, I love Pakistan like anything, and I would do anything to help Pakistan and help the agenda of Pakistan. But there's a way to do it, and that way was not this way. They, in the beginning, when President Musharraf agreed to every term President Bush had given him, he gave him a 10-point agenda, and President Musharraf agreed to all 10. He should have negotiated. He should have said, okay, we will not harm our own people. We will not fight against our own people. You cannot attack our people over here. You do your war in Afghanistan. Things would have been very different.
Correct. So there's one little point I want to take from here, which is as a message. We know we are by origin from wherever we are: Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, Malaysia, South Asia, anywhere, and we are settled here as Americans. for our kids, this is their country. So, little example, as you're saying about patriotism, my daughter is in, United States Navy, and when there's something comes up, and say that ये ठीक नहीं हो रहा है, so she asked me, mom, वे पाकिस्तान में हो रहा है या बांग्लादेश में हो रहा है या इंडिया में हो रहा है, आप कहाँ पे बैठी हुई हो? And so what would be, and we do have this discussion all the time, तो मैं उससे पूछती हूँ कि Sarah, what would you think? She said, I'm an American, this is my country, and I have taken oath to serve my country. She's very clear about this, way more clear than us, our kids in our generation about this कि हमने क्या करना है.
But Amber, just to add a little bit to that, this is the benefit of being an American, that we can criticize our own government and not land in trouble with anyone, right? We have the right to freedom of speech is an amazing thing. So we do exercise that periodically. We say that this policy of US policy was not good and this is good. So from that perspective, I would say that we should be allowed to criticize our own country as well.
Yeah, yeah, I would add to it too. Well, today the world is different. We have come from that far part of the world, and we have opted to stay in this country. And this is a land that we have chosen to live. But interestingly, where we came from, we are still on paper citizen of that country too. We are dual citizens. And at least Pakistani Americans are dual citizens, unless they denounce it. Unless, even if they don't carry a passport, they are still citizens. So in today's world, keeping double and sometimes triple a citizenship is okay, because now, due to advances in technology, has brought the world together. We talk on regular basis, with people who are in different parts of the world. So I believe that that's why our allegiance, where we came from, still remain intact with that part of the world too. But as you very well said, that we have adopted this country as a homeland, and we are earning our bread and butter here. We are having a safe life, and we have a voice here too. So keeping the balance between the two roles is a challenge. So saying that, oh, I am a dual citizen is great. It feels great, but there's a job attached with it. So if we are citizen of another country, it means that we have some obligations to it too. And that's why I believe I keep up with both countries' current affairs and try to mismatch. And sometimes I start getting crazy, but then I feel that this is what I have taken upon myself. Nobody else has told me to do that.
Correct. You said it beautifully, and I actually wanted to come to you about this because you are doing a lot of online programs, and I know with this non-presidential environment, education has become online everywhere. And actually, I'm very proud of Pakistan and South Asian countries that they're actually ahead of United States. I have to say that in many things, especially program जो पाकिस्तान में हो रहा है पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी में, which Imran Khan has signed up. They're doing tele education with special need kids. We haven't done this yet. We're thinking about it. We're making a pilot program right now. So that is, for me personally, is a moment of pride which I talk about. So I know we are coming very close to the, our discussion. I do want to talk about, because it's about elections. We just yesterday find out about the taxes of President Trump. I do want to talk about that, how that linked to our election. If our viewers are joining right now, if you don't take anything out of this conversation, take this example. What that show as a commander of chief of a country whose taxes were not shown. He kept hiding it for last 4 years, and finally when it came out, the numbers are phenomenally ridiculous. What do you guys think about it? Rifat, I'm going to go to you first about it.
Yeah, this was something that I think a lot of us were waiting for. And thank God it came out. And thank God, I hope people have enough time to digest it and understand uh, what kind of a repercussion can this have on other people.
Right.
It is a well-known fact that in United States, you might get away with murder. You might get away with a lot of other things, but you will not get away with tax evasion. Now, I don't know the exact details, how he was able to pay only $780 for the last 5 years. It is unbelievable. It is uncanny that anybody who proclaims himself to a billionaire and says, I'm using my own money for my campaign, my own money. Of course, if you're that rich, then you have to pay taxes on it. And if you have paid only $780, it is unbelievable. If
Ridiculous.
the DOJ was on the up and up, which it is not because of his handpicked Attorney General Barr, they should be at the door of the White House, knocking on the door of the White House right now and say, okay, we are here to get you for tax evasion.
Correct.
Many a billionaire and a millionaire have been taken to prison because of tax evasion.
Yeah. Right now, I just feel that people would acknowledge that. Those who are still debating if they would vote for Republicans or Democrats. So right now, they need to see, as you have said, Rafat, very eloquently, that it's the candidate that we need to vote for, not any party line, but see which candidate seems a sound candidate for being in the White House for next 4 years. So yes, that is a ridiculous number.
Okay.
I think we lost Nusrat.
I think we lost Nusrat.
So, having said that, oh, sorry, Nusrat. Why didn't
Fine. I think I was placed backstage for a little bit. So I'm just saying that we just need to see who's the right candidate. As we have been saying, don't follow the party line. Follow who's right.
Correct. And what are they representing and what are they believing? Because I know Joe Biden, for the first time, during Muharram, he gave the message, and that was such, intimate message that he gave. There's a question. It's actually a personal question from both of you guys. I know it's not linked to the campaigning, but it's coming from Daniel Mohan, who has a non-for-profit organization, and he's part of international firm. So I do want to acknowledge you guys watching the show. The question is, are their organization go out to try to work with other Muslim organizations from India or Middle East? This will bring a later spectrum. So he's asking this question from both of you. Not just talking about Muslims in this country.
Can you pose the question so I would at least
So the question was not on this line. He texted me separately. So.
I mean, honestly speaking, there are many, many Muslim organizations in US. We are Americans, so obviously we work with only American organizations. Other organizations, whether they be in Pakistan or whether they be in other Muslim countries, have to be registered in US for us to work with them from a logistics and legal point of view. But having said that, there are a lot of Muslim organizations US Muslim organizations that do international relief work. So we do work with those people. For example, Helping Hand, for example, Islamic Relief Fund. These are organizations that are registered in US, but they work internationally. So, so people over here, I don't know about Nusrat does a lot of social work as well, but I primarily work within the confines of diplomacy and politics, and then some social activism in US. Nusrat, maybe you could shed more light on it?
Yeah. So we are not, because our Woman to Woman Forum is established for Pakistani American women, mainly in America. We are registered here. We have not directly worked with any organizations in Muslim organizations or Pakistani organizations in Pakistan, but we do want to build up a cross-cultural interaction because we work in uplifting women and youth through networking, and networking doesn't mean that they just network here. We are working with one organization, SRI, Swat Relief Initiative, that works for education and healthcare in Swat, and they are also registered here in America, and then they are registered in Pakistan also. So we work with them as their counterpart in America, but not in Pakistan, and we help them raise funds. We help bring awareness to the community about their work. There's another organization, Turning Point for Women and Families, um, in New York, that is also uh, bringing um, relief work to the domestic violence victims and issues relevant to the girls in New York community. But these are all American organizations. They're not Pakistani or Saudi or any other organization. We wouldn't mind working with them, but so far our work is, or our goals and objectives are work towards improving lives of women in America, Pakistani American in America, and also youth, uplifting youth through networking. So I don't know if I have answered the question. Well, we are running a program called Urdu Academy within our forum, and we are, that program is for all. So we have students from Qatar who takes classes. So the students from Qatar are originally from UK, and their mother and father are Pakistani. So they are born in UK. They've gone to Qatar, and they have family ties in America, and that's how they have found out about Urdu Academy. And we are, providing services to them. So at individual level, we are in contact with global Pakistani community and Muslim community, but that's where our hands are tied because of our objectives. Okay.
Correct. And you're also helping out another organization, which is online teaching. So, I know you're pretty busy. You forget about so many things that you're doing. Nusrat, I'm just saying this because I know that you're
Thank
part
you
of
for thank you for identifying that. Yes, we right now during COVID, we everything has gone online, and I am uh, an educator who supports any other educator. So there is another Pakistani educationist who have started an online school, an online international schools. They're offering international level services. So we've been providing support to them and engaging them in creating awareness by connecting them with other educators. It's a new initiative, and I feel it's a great initiative because it's the need of Pakistan, where a lot of rural areas do not have schools. A lot of Pakistanis living in Saudi Arabia, their children cannot access good education. So for all those, it's a great initiative, and they have started to build up their reservoir of international students, and hopefully, they will sustain. Um,
Okay, that answers Mr. Daniel Mohan's question. So I know the 1 hour flew so fast. I want to take last, messages from both of you regarding this specific time that we are going through as Pakistani women. Women is a important role in our own houses. So please give your last messages. Rifat, I'm going to start with you, and then we're going to come to Nusrat.
Sure. Yeah, my message is very simple. Exercise your right to vote. Extremely important. If you haven't registered to vote, please do so as soon as possible because we are reaching the deadline. If you can volunteer, even if you don't believe in campaigning for one party or the other, volunteer to register people, volunteer to take people, transport people to the voting stations, volunteer to be at the voting stations. They are in dire need of people who will work the polling stations. They don't have enough people, and we know what's going to happen this election. Everybody is going to come out to vote, especially Republicans want to vote in person. So there are going to be long lines. So please volunteer for that so they don't have to combine precincts with having lines like 3 miles long or 4 miles long. I know it's going to be a lot of work. I did the primaries last time. I'm doing the general elections also this time. I know it's going to be. Last time I was sitting in one place for 15 hours straight, and this time it's going to be longer. But you have to do what you have to do for your country
There you
and your people.
Yeah, I do want to ask one more, Rifat, because you have this information. What or how can people join in for early voting, if that's possible for New Jersey? If
So, so go to your election bureau of your own county, because this is county by county. In New Jersey, whatever county you live in, go to the election bureau of that county. Google election bureau of wherever you are, Brunswick or whatever, and you will have all the information over there. All the dates are given. I get an email from our governor in Pennsylvania. The governor's office sends this email every week to update us. How many more days are left to register? How many days are left to vote? How many days are left for absentee ballots? How many days are left for in person ballots? All those protocols. So please do that. You have to be very proactive to do that.
yes, Nusrat.
Mm, okay. My message is everything Rifat has said. um, I was thinking, oh, I wanted to say this, and I wanted to say that.
Sorry.
You read your mind.
Go out and vote, and that's what my message is. And I will just add one thing to it. If you really feel that you do not want to leave during COVID time, then look out for mail ballot. And there is a deadline for mail ballot. I think that should be coming up soon. It should be around, I think, mid October, if I'm correct. But it may vary from state to state. So please check out the date for it. It's very easy to find. It's on the elections site for your state, and make yourself count. That's what's important.
Yeah, I think that date is because October 3rd is the first when they announce it, either 3rd or 6th, and then after that it's 15 days from there.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to clarify one thing. There's a difference between the application for mail-in ballot and the ballot itself. So if you have already sent in your application for ballot, they will send you an email letting you know that your ballot is being sent to you or your application has been declined. I had, giving my own example, I sent in my application for ballot a month ago, and I recently got an email that your application has been declined.
Oh no.
I was very upset what happened. I called the office. They had given a number that if you have any questions, call us. I called and they said that in your primaries, you had added always mail-in ballot. So we already have your application. So this was a duplicate because that's what they said rejected because of it being duplicate. So don't get startled when if you get something like that in the mail, call them up. It is your right to do that. They will answer the phone and clarify what's going on with your application. What's the problem with your application?
I'm so glad, Rifat, that you said that. And just like this, there's so many other examples. My daughter last year, when she did the licensing, there was a question that you have to declare either you're a Democrat or Republican, and she at that point said that I did not feel comfortable to declaring my party, and that's my own business. So when we were doing the elections in earlier in July, she did not get any mail in ballot. And then she said, "What's going on, mom?" So we went to the office and they said to vote in person. They said that, well, you did not declare your party, which should not be the case. You should still be able to receive that ticket. And they said, well, this is how it is right now. Either you declare you're a Democrat or a Republican, and that's how you get it. And if you're not declaring a party, there's a chance that you might not get a ticket. So there's so many ways that things can get left behind, and if you're not on top of it, uh, you might end up losing certain things. So it is your right to vote. Please do not get discouraged by things like that, because it's extremely crucial and sensitive election, this one. And we cannot afford, as Rifat said, it's a matter of life and death for us specifically, to make sure that we do whatever we can during this election, and we count. So, having said that, thank you so much, Rifat and Nusrat, joining me on this Sunday night late. And our audience, thanks for being with me at this point, at this late hours. Remember, we only have a couple of days, and make sure that you use your most important right wisely.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amber, for bringing that topic up so that people of our South Asian community can understand what really is happening and what needs to happen.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome. You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you, Channel 52, for allowing us to have this discussion.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So, having said that, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a special day for me because actually my niece is getting married in Canada
Wow.
in the mosque, and because of pandemic, we cannot. And that's another example. जाते जाते मैं बताना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि this could have been done in a better way, but because of the non-leadership in the president, we have lost so many lives. So, having said that, take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum. Good night.
Wonderful.
Good night.